I would like to specifically talk on 2, 3 things. Number one, this survection is just an evidence collection. So the survey agency, because what I am basically will talk about is the scientific checks that we have put in place. If there is the job of the assessor is only to click photos and update on the dashboard on the portal of Mahua, the Swachh Survekshan portal. There are very strict norms as to what is allowed and what is not allowed. Just for an example, no assessor, no ULB shall extend any hospitality facilities to the assessors. This is a very important point. This has been observed very frequently that the assessor comes to the ULB and then the ULB is arranging their stay and food and all. Even some of the ULBs providing them vehicles to take them across the city. All of this is not allowed. If we find any such instance, the assessor will for sure be punished, but ULP will also stand to lose. So please ensure that none of your officers are involved in any way with the assessor in extending any such benefit. If at all the assessor requests for any such help from the ULB, the same shall be brought to the notice of the ministry.
And some practical part they check the based on five small ways and math ways. So 10 days and your body will be assessed whether being out of the country, whether there is an encroachment, whether unification is happening, whether making it, whether any stagnant water, choke or overgrown drains are there. Because these areas are small bacteria. It should not be neglected in the circular stream of the all of these have will be verified with the we know scoring pattern, the mark score will be based on the sum of total land and the liquids which are going to be passing by the system. And the system, in addition, both the citizens and the households on the top people and in the market buildings, that adjustment is there, violation is there. Those scores which are partially we are taking together and divided by whole number of families as a student. So this is the maximum mark for each indicator. And this scoring pattern is throughout the toolkit. Total number of campus which are passing, whether it is direct examination or examination, upon the total number of samples for the which is viewed. For the small activity, the total number of samples you can see can be something like 463. Whereas, so one beginning, here we get back to 4,300 and all for a very large piece of land. So this is just putting scoring pattern. Next indicator, please. This is about the big land. Here, sorry, this is about the big land. Where city has strongly implemented the road direction, whereby the number of secondary things which are large size. We are not talking about very small little things. You can get mostly in the public areas where a lot of things are to be made and within there are a lot of public footfall these days. So the question is, since I am really, is it all the connectivity here, the public area, transport, wherever to go, I think that and really voice very percent later please Govind sir to Govind these are the non-text and sign with proper sign then polish proper sign being polished on the weight bench and start speed. So this has 50 marks and it's a residential thing. Any open large thing which is there, then you will look to the market. The idea is the residential area. Oh, ये तो voice speaker लगी. And all we should try to now speaker सही. Yeah. Speaker तो
even for large gathering places like the collectorate and the courts, what we have said, there should be a common connection point and that will be serviced by the urban local body on the basis of door-to-door collection only. If required, it will be done more than once. But for cleanliness sake, do not provide massive storage bins all over those places. So that should be avoided. Also, a very important area to be managed is the street food vendors. A lot of street food vendors are found. So ULB should make it mandatory for them to have segregated storage of waste for the street vendors also. So the scoring for them is 25 marks. So the whether you are servicing all these areas with proper distinction of door-to-door service, not having large capacity bins, which promotes unnecessary storage of the waste on the streets, littering, animals coming and rummaging, and generation or the multiplication of disease vectors. Those should be avoided. At the same time, small bins for litter management are required. These are to be covered in this bin management indicator. Next, please. This is cleanliness target units. Honorable Mantriji's idea is that there are vulnerable places like particularly near the urinals and electric transformers, sometimes telephone junction boxes, and similar such things. Even the backside of bus shelters. These should not become accumulation points for garbage. So cities need to, even, sometimes there is an unoccupied household or a shop which has been closed for a long time. So near that also, these spots of accumulation of garbage will develop. So these need to be eliminated as a target unit every day by the ULB. They have to on watch to identify these garbage hotspots, and if they are out of the beat area of your sanitation staff, they should be brought into the beat area so that hygienic surroundings are maintained. So these what we used to call as garbage vulnerable points should become a target. That's why cleanliness target units are mentioned. That is the renaming of the garbage vulnerable points. Through public participation, where ULBs need to conduct this kind of CTUs, and for that, 40 marks are kept. These CTUs that are identified and transformed, and through app or other photographic capture, whether they are maintained, then you will have another score of 30, which includes subparts of percentage of low and medium intensity CTUs identified and transformed, and percentage of high intensity CTUs that are there. ULBs need to update their list of cleanliness targets identified by themselves, by their staff, and through the app or survey, etc., in the Swachhtam port. And post cleaning these CTUs, how you are monitoring through regular cleaning and maintenance, beautification, etc., that will also have another 30 marks. So 40 plus 30 plus 30, it is 100 marks. It's a very important parameter for visible cleanliness. As we know that ULBs need to see themselves as clean areas. For anyone who is entering into the city, he is not a householder or a shopkeeper. He is going around and he should find the whole area clean, especially when certain items are hidden from public view. Those areas like back lanes and narrow lane should also be made clean. So this is all a continuation of visible cleanliness part. Now we come to indicator number 5, 1.5, that is red spots for pan and other gutka littering, and the yellow spots that are for unhygienic urination indulged by certain people. So the objective is to ensure that all areas are free from red and yellow spots, and the ULBs will be assessed on the basis of the streets and the corners and the unattended areas in commercial places, public places, transport places, all these high footfall, even the beaches also, parks, gardens. You need to find out which are the vulnerable places for gutkas and urination, and these will be assessed. This is a very serious indicator, which is a direct score of 150. we are eliminating all these, so there are no sub indicators. So 150 marks, you will either gain if you are very vigilant on these areas, spots, and if you are not very vigilant, you will be losing a lot of marks. ULBs need to update their covered areas and properly classify them. If a new commercial area is coming up, that should be properly classified in your documents. New transport hub, new public gathering places coming up should be updated. Focus should be on areas which are prone to negligent behavior or cleanliness, such as near public toilets, near urinals, near railway lines, even sometimes under the flyovers also. Some part of the flyover is easily accessible and well maintained. But when the flyover begins, the road bridges, etc., when they begin, there is an area which is very having low height, and those areas should also be surveyed. So, and maintained well by the ULBs. So, I request all the ULBs to be very vigilant and avoid all these hotspots where dirtiness can be accumulated. We'll come to the next point, that is 1.6. Stormwater. Yes, thank you. These ULBs are very well aware that these stormwater drains are there which carry the rainwater during the wet weather, and during the dry weather they are generally dry. And at the same time, there are certain constructed drains also which are on the side of the roads, and sometimes they are too narrow also, well hidden due to cover and other things, or the shopkeepers, etc., make a construction over it, allowing it to pass, but making it hidden. So these can become choked and become points of gathering all these bacteria and disease forming things. When it comes to the outfall of these stormwater drains, these city level drains going and falling into a bigger drain or a bigger river, there the screening jollies to prevent any floating garbage to uh, get into the main river and then flow out. It can become a big litter in the river, and it can even reach the sea also. To eliminate that, in the previous years, we had introduced the screening arrangement. Mute their mics. आप सभी का माइक्स को आप म्यूट कर लीजिएगा.
Sir, please unmute, sir.
Sir, kindly unmute, sir.
Sir, cannot hear, sir.
Yeah, some technical glitches happening. Now I think I'm audible to all of you. And once again, I request check your microphone, and if it is open, kindly switch it off. So coming back to the drains and the nalas which carry this water, maybe round the year or part of the year only. Please check whether they are going to check whether it is free from floating waste and whether it is free from debris, construction debris, silt or waste that will obstruct the flow. Then nalas and drains, whether they have the proper screening arrangement in place to eliminate the entry of any garbage into the main river or the sub river, whether pre-monsoon and post-monsoon cleaning mechanism and actual work is being done by the ULB, and especially for the wider drains which are bigger than 3 meter wide, probably carrying a road, you need to have fencing or a screening on both sides to prevent people from dumping any kind of waste. And sometimes the real challenge is there is some puja material or other material which has to be disposed of into a water body. But please see that these drains do not become such places. You need to create separate places for them. So all these 5 questions, 100 marks, each one carries equal marks of 20 each. So next is a related item 1.7. 1.7, please, Vishal. Thank you. Here we are looking at these water bodies. These water bodies can be small ponds or large lakes or rivers, even the sea also, beaches, etc. also, which have a large body of water. They are distinctly separate from the linear drains. But at the same time, if the drain is say more than 10 meter wide for a substantial length, that itself becomes a water body in the city. So please see that these are also with similar parameters. You need to see that they are big water bodies and a lot of population may be daily accessing these things, and they should be having a clear garbage maintenance infrastructure. So all these lakes, ponds, rivers, small or big, and even the beaches, you need to see whether the area all around the water body is clean, well maintained, free from any open garbage sites or dumps within a 5 meter radius or 5 meter distance of the edge of the water body. Are these water bodies free from solid waste, water weeds like water hyacinth and other things which can pollute the water body? Whether they have infrastructure like twin litter bins to eliminate accumulation of garbage and easy servicing of solid waste management. And they should be accompanied by anti-littering messages and signages. These water bodies should not have direct outfall of sewage or drains into the water into it. And these water bodies need to be regularly desilted, and the ULB needs to maintain records of this desiltation. This indicator carries a maximum mark of 100, and all these 5 indicators will have equal weightage of 20 marks each. Aesthetics and beautification. Item indicator number 1.8. When we are talking about visible cleanliness, you are a person, you are an assessor yourself, and you are walking around the area. The general feeling what you get is what we are talking about here, aesthetics and beautification. The footpaths, the walls, the side walls, if there is a drain with a fence, what is the condition of it? Is it all rusted? Whether it is properly painted? Whether the footpaths are well maintained without any breakages? Sometimes some cable person or some utility person comes and breaks it up, and he doesn't take the ownership of restoring it. Then the ULB needs to demand them that they should restore it or do it itself. Whether the transformers, the telephone junction boxes, the walls of the toilets, public toilets, whether they are properly maintained. Hoardings. Hoardings on the top may look very beautiful during day or night, but at the bottom of the hoarding, where the poles, etc., are constructed, whether they are clean, all these items are aesthetics and beautifications. So this will be validated by carrying out or visiting the public and commercial areas, roads and footpaths, high footfall areas, all these that are lying within the ULB's jurisdiction. And the assessor will capture photographs and videos to validate his observations. And this is also applicable for all the 5 categories of the ULBs. The scheme of marking lies in whether there is a positive painting thing or whether there is a negative thing. You see, you can have good paintings, graffiti, and murals, etc., which is done as an enhancer, or say, for example, during the elections and other things, it is illegally used. These walls, etc., are used, and they are disfigured. So you need to remove all these disfigurement and maintain positive graffiti, abstract painting, etc. Ways to wonder parks. Whether ULB has taken up any ways to wonder or ways to art in sculptures and other such installations, particularly in the chowks, that is the junctions of streets. Are all public and commercial areas free from hanging wires? This is the bane of our urban environment. Lot of hanging wires are there. Wires are there. So ULB needs to properly organize all these things and bundle them together, and do not make it as a a dangerous thing. Not only a dangerous thing, but very unsightly to look at. Whether posters are posters and bills also are a menace, whether they are all over the place or whether they are properly regulated. Or the posters, ULBs are ensuring that whether the posters, as mandated by the law, do have the name of the uh, publisher and the printer. They need to ensure that. Common signages across the city, whether they are properly maintained or are run down. Sometimes they are affected by wind and rain and not repaired properly. All the roads and footpaths are free from potholes and broken paver blocks, as we have already discussed. Sometimes these roads and footpaths are broken up for a purpose, but they are not repaired immediately. So all these will be assessed by the assessor, whether there is a neat and clean green zone, wherever possible, the medians, the road dividers, and the footpath sides, when there is a available space, road space which is not developed, whether greenery has been developed or not, and the beautification of the flyovers and the bridges. These need not be made as simply as a concrete structure and forgotten about it, but it is a good opportunity to create aesthetically beautiful surfaces around them, especially with vertical gardens, flowers, etc. The idea is when you maintain a place aesthetically beautiful, it straight away discourages people from spreading uncleanliness and disfigurement. If you allow it in a disfigured way itself, then people, instead of repairing it, they will contribute to destroy it further. So, this is the idea. You need to look at the aesthetics. You need to insist on the legal provisions, especially on the bill pasters and the utilities which keep on digging up the footpaths and the roads for their own services. You need to be strongly after them to repair them to their original condition. And regular painting of the footpaths and etc. Need to be done. Next. And all these indicators which we have seen previously, A to H, they are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And total marks are 200, and some are having 30 marks and some are having 20 marks. We are coming to the cleanliness in slums. The major departure here is the very small ULBs of less than 20,000 population and the small ULBs of less than 50,000 population. They do not have this assessment because they are being very small and the economic activities there in may be very less. There is very little chance that there can be a slum there. So they are not assessed for this. And for them, these 150 marks will be redistributed in other parameters. So the cleanliness in the slums. The slums are a gathering of human settlements which are highly unregulated, but as a mandate of sanitation, they should be fully given the door-to-door services, just like any other developed area. And also see that the access to toilets and sanitation is fully made available, because Swachh Bharat Mission does not distinguish between the tenure of land, whether this is a legally valid land or not. You need to extend sanitation services both for the toilets and garbage solid waste management to these slums also. So the validation of this indicator will be carried out by visiting the slum and photographs and videos will be captured. Whether the slum households and the shops are covered with door-to-door collection mechanism. If it is not feasible, then whether the ULB has created a dedicated space or a point for those householders or the shopkeepers to deposit their waste. Is there at least once a day sweeping in the slum areas? At least there are no garbage vulnerable points or CTUs. And whether at least there is a community toilet within the distance of maximum 500 meters in the slum area. Some of the ULBs have gone ahead and provided household toilets also for the slums. But here at least we are looking at is they are not without at least a community toilet. Are the streets, are the drains in the slums properly covered and do not have unregulated discharge, fecal sludge in the drains? Is it completely free from open OD instances, open defecation instances? Are the slums free from stagnant water, waterlogging, or pooling of water? The slums can be a big challenge. At the same time, we will be exposing not only the slum dwellers, but the entire population of the city if we neglect the slums. So, all the services that are provided to developed areas are to be given by the ULB to the slums also, whether they are registered or not registered. Also, you need to update on the number of slums with that are found in the ULB on the Swachh portal. Now we come to the next indicator, that is the cleanliness in schools. 1.10 school cleanliness. विशाल आगे बढ़ाइए इसको. Next, please.
Done, sir.
Yeah,
I think there is some
now it
network
has
issue.
come. Thank you. So the question is, are the school premises free from litter and visibly clean? The schools are a very important area for Swachh Bharat mission because we are training and developing the cleanliness behavior of our children for a better tomorrow. So the schools need to become temples of cleanliness within the community. The objective is to maintain that the schools are free from litter, and wherever you go and see, that is visibly they are clean. It is also means that we are inculcating a habit of maintaining swachhta among the students, so that when they go home or when they go to a community, they take that swachhta behavior and practice it at household and at the community level also. So here the assessor will be visiting all the schools, whether they are public, whether they are private, whether they are government, municipal, all the schools, they will be visiting as per the sampling criteria. Photos and videos will be taken. Here the marks are 100. It's a simple one indicator. The idea is the schools have to become the good examples of such behavior and such practice. Next slide. We are coming to the next section, that is segregation, which including collection and transportation. Now, in the section 2, indicator 2.1, door-to-door collection. This is the primary duty of an ULB for ensuring swachhta. So these door-to-door collection will be focusing on the assessment of whether there is a segregation of waste at source, whether there is an adequacy of infrastructure, including the vehicles, and whether the monitoring is good, that adequate number of trips are being maintained, and through proper monitoring, any missing out or any complaints that are generated are also covered within the 24 hours. So this is a big indicator with a total score of 300 marks. This will be carried out through not only desktop assessment, but also visiting the residential areas, commercial areas, public areas, and the slums within the ULB's jurisdiction. Here, whether the questions will be households, shops, and other institutionals or institutional areas, including public institutions such as police stations and collectorates, courts, and other such facilities, whether they are connected to the door-to-door collection system on a daily basis or whether there is a dedicated point of collection in case every time door-to-door collection may not be possible. So this carries 200 marks. Second indicator in this is part indicator is whether the collection vehicles have adequate volume to prevent spillage. As the cities grow and the population within the households or within the wards increases, whether the ULBs are attentive to introduce more number of bigger volume or more number of vehicles to prevent any spillage. During the transportation itself, when it is being taken, the vehicles should not be spilling any waste. So this carries 100 marks. So this is about door-to-door collection, total of 300. Next, we come to the other indicator, which is actually part of the door-to-door collection itself, that is the segregation of waste. 2.2. Next, please. Yeah. Vishal, there is a big lag. I don't know. Your network, I think, is slow there. Please see whether you can be near a stronger network area. So this is a
Okay.
segregation of waste. This is very crucial, not only for cleanliness, but also for bringing value, that is waste to wealth. Unless the segregation of waste is ensured at the generator's premises, the waste itself become more and more waste. If segregation is ensured, the waste can be converted as wealth. So this is very important. And also, it has got a very important bearing on the transportation and the storage spaces also. Generally, the dry waste is much voluminous, but very conducive to compaction, dry waste. Whereas wet waste, has got more mass, more moisture content, more weight, and small in size, but it is having lot of bad odor, bacteria, and other these pathogens are there. So we need to separate both these areas. At the same time, wet waste, if it is properly collected and taken to treatment facilities such as a biomethanation plant, a valuable gas can be collected. But in a mixed waste, having lot of dry waste, having lot of surface area, you disperse your wet waste also into that, mix it also into that. The potential of the wet waste is totally lost. In the end, you may try to segregate, but lot of it is gone, lot of moisture is gone, which is containing the gas potential. All that is gone. So segregation is very important. The validation will be carried out at every point of generation, such as residential areas and also collection areas such as transfer stations and processing facilities. Right from the generation of whether the households or shops or hotels, restaurants, etc., whether the segregation is being implemented. And that is also further validated in a transfer station when we are having transfer stations, when we go and see, and even the vehicles themselves, within the vehicles themselves, we can see whether they are having partitions, whether separately there is storage happening in the vehicles and the transportation is done in a segregated manner. And processing plants also, finally we can see how much of it is a reject waste from the process. Processes, as our friend Ankit Jain will take it up later, are designed for different characteristics of waste. Wet waste will have a different processing technology. Dry waste will have a different technology for processing or sorting. And wherever the rejects that are coming out, if they are less in number, ULB is implementing good segregation. If the rejects that are coming out are more, that means ULB is neglecting and not delivering on the segregation. The scheme of marks lies whether the waste is being collected as a dry waste, wet waste, sanitary waste, and domestic hazardous waste, which are all should be separately collected and separately stored in the vehicle and separately moved, and finally reaching their targeted processing plants. Whether the segregated fractions are received at the designated facilities, that such as MRFs and CBG plants, or even the waste to electricity plants, etc. Whether the sanitary and the domestic hazardous waste are properly segregated, stored, moved, and channelized to the proper handler and processor, such as an incinerator or TSDF or a common medical waste facility, biomedical waste facility. All these will carry a big chunk of marks of 500. So ULBs need to take care. This has been given a large chunk of marks because this is crucial for valorizing waste, that is improving our waste to wealth initiative. So ULBs are requested to treat it as a core area of waste management and not to neglect it any further. So thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I stop here and I hand over to Ankit Jain. Ankit, to take forward from section 3 onwards.
Good morning. Hope I'm audible. I'm Assistant Advisor Ankit Jain, which is on solid waste processing, and this will entirely carry around 1500 marks and will be put under 11 sections. So we'll be capturing each section now onwards. The first would be functional wet waste processing capacity. Vishal, can you please? So this is the first indicator, which is functional wet waste processing capacity. So all of you are well aware that solid waste are majorly categorized under 3 categories. Now, even special care category has also been added in the recent rules. The major one are 2, which is wet waste and the dry waste. So first fraction, which is called wet waste, will be assessed under this indicator. And here there are 2 different things. The first indicator, which is 3.1, will be assessing the requirement of the actual design capacity available in your ULB. So here our assessor will come and will take some pictures and will see whether your design capacity is sufficient with respect to your generation based on this formula, which will be capturing your total waste in terms of the design. This will give you a total of 100 marks. Next indicator, please. The next indicator, please. No, 3.2 is the next one. Correct. So 3.2 will be capturing the actual utilization, or you should say the actual processing of wet waste. The first indicator was will capture the actual utilization of your plant. So what is the quantum you are processing currently? It will be assessed in this parameter, which will give you 75 marks for the total processing, actual processing, and the 25 marks for the offtake of what you are producing. Like the or in the case of CBG, you may have gas also. So if it is being offtake properly, so this would be the indicator which will capture that. Here, we have also added one important point in the case of northeastern states or very small ULBs where they are, also feeding livestock with the good fraction of wet waste, like peels and other things. That can also be considered here, but you have to put it or project it as a processing technique, one of the processing technique. Can we go to the next indicator, please? Ishan? So the 3.3 indicator, in a similar way, it will be capturing the dry fraction. In this indicator, first the assessor will assess the capacity available for dry fraction. And this is specifically for the sortings, like MRF, which is called Material Recovery Facility. So this indicator will be targeting the sorting of your dry fraction, and the total capacity will give you around 50 marks. Here, we have also included RDF and SCF as a separate entity. So the total RDF linkages will also give you 25 marks. There you have to actually give the MOUs. You have to produce the MOUs between the ULB and cement industry or any other industry or waste to energy plant which is taking your RDF as a fuel, or SCF also would be considered here. Here we have also included another feature of EPA, where like for plastic waste, there are so many plastic waste processors who are already registered for this kind of practices, and all the producers, importers, and brand owners, they are obligated to get such kind of credits, which is called EPR credits of the total 80 to 100% of the products which is intended to become waste. So here, since this is the first time, we are just asking if the ULB is registered on the CPCB to avail such benefits. If the ULB is registered with CPCB to avail such benefits on EPR, they would be able to avail 25 marks in addition. So you have to produce the registration certificate. Next indicator, please. So indicator 3.4 is again on dry waste processing, but here this will be capturing the actual processing being done in the UL. So it is again categorized under three subcategories. The first one is the total processing actual which is happening, the which will get you 50 marks. And this subcategory is the utilization of total recyclables. Here, it is this is asking for the utilization, but it doesn't say like ULB they themselves have to utilize it. ULBs may have MOUs with any aggregator, and they have to produce the proof that it is being utilized or channelized properly for recycling purpose through aggregator or through any registered agencies which are registered with CPCB may also help you to get the marks, this additional 25 marks. Similarly, here non-recyclable fraction, which is also called SCF, segregated combustible fraction, or RDF. If you are able to produce the certificate, like you are sending it for proper or waste to energy plant or any which is consuming your this segregated combustible fraction will also get you 25 marks in addition. Next indicator, please. So similarly, there is another indicator on domestic hazardous waste and sanitary waste processing. So here only you have to provide the document which will uh, give a kind of indication that you have a kind of tie-up with the common biomedical waste facility or any waste to energy plants who is taking care of your domestic hazardous and sanitary waste fraction. So such kind of evidence will give you. Vishal, can we move to 3.6? So CND waste is will be captured in 3.6 parameter, and this has the total marks of 200 around, and which will be again categorized into five subcategories. So this first two category of the ULB very small and small, we would say, which is less than 50,000 population, only point A would be applicable, which where you have to produce there the collection is happening in the ULB. You have a dedicated designated point of collection for CND waste. For the ULBs which are actually more, which has more than 50,000 population, they'll be captured for the remaining indicators, which where you'll be having, you have to notify the collection mechanism. You have clearly declared the transfer to do with that. They have also be put on the MIS portal. Uh, the third point, which will capture the adequate functional processing facility, which will get you again 40 marks. The first point will have the maximum mark of 80. The second point will have the mark of 40. And the third point will give you around another 40 marks. The fourth point, which will capture the ULB's tender conditions of the reuse of what you are producing out of CND waste. Like if you are producing some paver blocks, you're producing a coarse aggregate, recycled coarse aggregate, or a fine aggregate, whether they are being utilized in your own government's project will get you another 20 marks in the same thing D. And the third point, which is basically to mitigate person of construction dust. So whether ULB has given instructions of all construction sites to use a kind of barricadings or proper to use proper precautions including sprinklers and all to mitigate dust dispersion of dust will give you another 20 marks. Here in the important point, if you would see the point D, which will ask about the utilization or selling of CNT waste collected from non-bulk waste generator, because here you need to see that these all points are applicable only on non-bulk generator. So what is bulk generator in the case of C&D waste plant, which actually which has the total built up area of around 20,000 square meter. In the earlier rule, it was also daily generation may categorize you as a bulk waste generator of C&D waste plant. There is another condition which also state like if you generate more than 300 TPD a month may also put you under the category of bulk waste generation. So in the case of bulk waste generator, you, ULB is not obligated to waste at their site. But if it is coming from the sites which are not covered under bulk waste category or which are directly coming from some residential area, has to be captured by the ULB. So, so in the case, in important points, he had clearly stated that these things are applicable only in the case of population more than 5 lakh. For the cities which have a population less than 5 lakh, they don't have to uh, give the proof of utilization. They are exempted for that particular point. Next indicator, please. So bulk waste generator as a whole, this is not for C and D alone. This point will capture bulk waste, municipal bulk. So you all know that the generators which are producing more waste than 100 kg a day uh, comes under the category of bulk waste generator. In new rule, there are some more parameters, but till April they are exempted. So there are some 4 points. And this category, first of all, I wanted to tell that this will be applicable on the ULBs which has population more than 50,000. And four major things which will be assessed for total 150 marks would be whether the bulk waste generators have wet waste facility in their own premise. If they have uh, such facilities, this would be uh, calculated based on the total percentage, like out of total but how many of them have wet waste facilities. 25 marks for this particular thing. The second parameter is for the dry waste. So if you they are channelizing their dry fraction for or they are handing over to the registered recycler. Registered recycler means either they should register with CPCB's EPR design or they should register with the ULB. So for that ULB also have to bring a list which will give you kind of indication that these are the total recyclers who are authorized to take such kind of waste. ULB also have to identify total number of bulk waste generators which are given in the important points you may see. So these are the two important tasks which these first have to carry out, then only of total registered waste bulk waste generator. Uh, these parameters will be assessed. The first parameter would be the waste processing facilities within their own premise, which will give you 25 marks. Then the second is channelization of dry waste, which is being the third is similarly for wet waste. If ULV, if they are unable to capture their own uh, they are unable to process their own wet waste, then they can send it to the ULB. They can have a tie-up with the wet waste processor, which can be ULB also on commercial charges. So on this parameter also, again, you'll get 50 marks. And the empanelment of third-party vendors. which will be collecting wet or dry waste from such bulk waste generator. If you have such list available or mechanism available for empanelment, will again get you 25 additional marks under this category. Next indicator, please. Street, which is waste management in schools, has totally of 100 marks, which will be the prime focus of the same would be assessing the schools. Do they have changed the slide? So, so this will have four major points to be assessed. First would be whether school classes has litter bins. In each class, they have litter bins uh, in the school. Litter bins here may need only the dry fraction. It will not be applicable on the wet fraction, which is majorly for the paper uh, and other, you know, usable things a school may have. So this does where school has to put proper signages for wet and dry waste bins on common areas in the canteen, in maybe in the corridors, which will be shared between the classes. There they should have wet and dry waste signages on the bins. The third parameter, this parameter will give you another 15 marks. Uh, the third parameters is whether school has either facility on their own if they are categorized under bulk waste generator, or they are segregating the wet and dry fractions properly before the final submission to the municipal corporation, before handing it over to the municipality. So this parameter will get you another 40 marks. The scoop of biodegradable waste in the same premise may get you another, if such schools are available, percentage of such schools. If city has so many such schools, based on the percentage, will give you another 30 marks on pro rata basis here. Here 80% of the total schools in the school. This is as per our target. Next parameter, please. So indicator 3.9 is for RRR center. RRR centers, again, this parameter would be applicable only for the cities have population of more than 50,000. Here total marks are around 150, and which will be subcategorized under 5 major categories. So the first would be whether RRR facilities created by ULBs, permanent or temporary. If you have such RRR facilities, you'll get 25 marks. If ULB has engaged the NGO, civil society, or organization for running or promoting such kind of centers, will again get you another 25 marks. Post festival waste management, specifically like after Deepa pujas and so many such festivals, expect to have so much of such puja materials. If you have such mechanism to collect the same material, like old photos, cloths, flower, coconut, or other things from societies or religious places or so, or you have common designated points, to deposit such materials, will get you another 25 marks in this category. Receipt of collection and disposable items should be available with the RRR centers, which will prove that yes, there is a kind of proper channel, which will again make you eligible to get another 25 marks in this category. If the campaigns organized by ULPs for collection are being conducted in the ULP are happening, you have proof. Our assessor will check that. Will again make you eligible for another 25 marks. And the last point in this category is you should have a proper linkages of the disposal and reuse, recycling, or now we also added repair also of such items which are being collected in the RRR center, which will again make you eligible for another 25 marks. So another, now we'll move to the next point, 3.10 for sanitary landfill. Uh, Sanitary landfills point, which is indicator 3.10, will totally, it will have total 150 marks, and this is not. So here, total marks, if you look at the distribution, so if you have such scientific landfill sites, if you have already identified the land, you have called a tender, you have issued work order, if you have the construction sites, if you have each of the parameter, each of the stage has got uh, a separate mark for you. So based on the stage, you'll be eligible to get the mark. Uh, this is first section. In the second section, since rule restrict the waste which is being routed to the sanitary landfill site is only inert, which is non-recyclable, which cannot be burned, which can't be used somewhere else like wet waste or so. So so which is called inert fraction is only eligible to be sent on such sites. And they have also restricted the total quantum of such waste should not be more than 20% of the total waste. So here we have put the categories from 5% to 20%. If you have this much quantum of waste which is being sent to the you'll be eligible to get the highest. If percentage will get you the highest mark. If you are sending inerts only, which is less than 5%, will get you the highest mark of 80%. But if you are sending it 10%, then less than 10 may get you around 60 marks. And in the case of around 20 will get you only 20 marks. In the case of more than 20 will not get you any mark in this category. So this is in line with the rule, and ULVs please see this and try to reduce their inert quantum or processing rejects in this category. So we'll move to the next indicator, which is the last indicator in SWM's category. So the indicator 3.11 is for remediation of dump site. Good, total chunk of marks as around 250. So if you have already the total legacy which has already been reported to us on our portal might be. So the total legacy waste remediated across all identified dump sites in the ULPs will get you direct in the pro rata basis. The proportion which you have already remediated, it will get you the marks out of 250, which will directly be proportionate to the total remediation which you have done. So these are the total 11 indicators for solid waste processing assessment. Now we'll be moving to the next section. It will be covered by my
Sir, thank you. This is Sudesh from CPHU. Good morning to all the participants and officials from various ULBs and the representatives from OVA. So the current section, what we are going to discuss right now, it is section number 4, which is access to the sanitation. So this access to sanitation has 5 indicators totally. So totally it covers about 1000 marks with 10 percentage of total grading. So total weightage is 10 percentage. So under this there are 5 indicators. So out of this 5 indicators, some 2 indicators are going to be the major scoring area. One is 4.2 and the rest 4.3. So totally we have 5, 4.1 to 4.5. Out of that, the major scoring area is 4.2 and 4.3, where we can able to get 300 under each indicator. So accordingly, we will go one by one. So the first indicator, along with me, there is another master trainer who is going to be under this particular section. It is Pooja Ravi, NPMU of MOVA. So first two section will be explained by, two indicators will be explained by me. The remaining three will be explained by Pooja Ravi. So first indicator, let me go into the first indicator. Vishal, can we go to the next slide? The first indicator is 4.1. The 4.1 indicator is for prevention of open defecation and open urination. Based on the visible cleanliness section, there are some few considerations has been added under this section, and accordingly this 4.1 section has been revised and compared to the earlier earlier year. So accordingly this particular indicator is having prevention of open defecation and open urination. The objective is to avoid open urination and open defecation in the mainly in the open defecation hotspots, that too in commercial areas and public areas, and to create adequate infrastructure and to target IEC and BCC and enforcement measures which has been taken. So especially in this regard, it is the main objective of this particular indicator. So the validation under the remaining indicators are direct observation and desktop. Under this particular indicator, we have an additional one validation method that is called as citizen validation, though it is an prevention of open defecation and open urination. So it is considered with an additional validation method called citizen validation. As already all my seniors has explained how the observation will be taken. So accordingly, this particular section indicator has three kind of validation. So that is the one thing. Another, under this access to toilet, the applicability, it is for all the cities. In some few places, the million cities will be considered under the scoring marking system. There are one place where we can highlight for million plus cities. The remaining, it is applicable to all the towns, various towns, from small towns to the maximum population greater than 10 lakhs, or to the million plus towns. So million plus cities. So accordingly, we will go into the marking system of this 4.1. So the marking has 4 marking systems. First marking is for actually it is said to be the prevention of open defecation. So the marks has been given for the adequacy, whether they have the ULB has an adequacy of toilets which has scoring of 25 marks, followed by the open defecation if it is already identified and some measures has been taken or transformed to the next level, so that will give an additional 25 points, followed by any recent law or order has been notified or penalties has been collected based on the open defecation or open urination in the past 12 months, that will give an additional 25 marks under this. It is a total of 100 marks, so the 75 marks under this three markings. The final marking is in the main hotspot areas, wherever the very common urination or open defecation will get happen. In those areas like railway tracks, railway stations or railway tracks nearby, or water bodies nearby, or the public transport hubs, or tourism or religious hubs where the footfalls are high. So if those OD hotspots where the measures or something is taken, the marks has been given accordingly based on the observations. So the next indicator, we are just moving to the next indicator, 4.2. It is called public toilet. We are just going to the public toilets. As already we said, there are 5 indicators. The remaining, all these 4 indicators, like functional, well maintained, well equipped of public toilet is one indicator. The same way, functional, well maintained, well equipped community toilet is the next indicator. functional, well maintained, well equipped urinals is the next fourth indicator. The fifth indicator is because of additional into the schools, into the educational institution, how it is maintained. So these are the 5 indicators. Accordingly, we are going to 4.2. It is called public toilets. Where the public toilets are well maintained, the objective remains to be the public toilets are to be well equipped and has to be have the facilities and has to be with proper sanitation system around the within and outside the system, and proper waste management system has to be placed inside the public toilets, and the mechanism of complaint mechanism is already in place in some maximum places, and the complaint mechanism is also another objective where it has to be ensured, and accessibility to all the users. It should not be restricted with the users. So these are the objectives, and it has to be aligned with the sanitation and the hygienic standards of our ministry. So the validation and methods, what it is already it said, every section under this, every indicators under this section will have the remaining have only two validation method. One is direct observation, another one is direct desktop assessment. This is applicable to all the towns, varying from population from lower less than 20,000 to the maximum million cities. So the next is scheme of marking. Here only I said only one place where it is specifically to the million plus cities. So let's we go one by one. The scheme of marking under this community toilets and public toilet is for individually 300 for community and 300 for public toilets. So under this, the first 300 marks where you can get scores for this public toilet is the first point where you can get is the when you go for a public toilet, the very first visibility is the signage, and the toilet is mapped for the easily accessible, easily connect to the publics to reach to the particular location. So if an ULB has a clear signage with a map visible on Google Maps, so they score 40 marks. Most probably this grading will be with 40 and 30 grades. So the maximum highlighted points will be at 30, and slightly of lower consideration will be at 30 marks. So the maximum consideration to the next point is cleanliness and hygienic in the internal area of the toilet as well as the surrounding premises of the toilets, because there are some toilets where it can be placed in the not in the appropriate location. So based on that internal and external area, how the where the toilet is placed, whether it is clean or hygiene. So based on that, the 40 scores will be 40 marks will be given. The next point where you can get the another 40 marks as like the phasis parameter. One of the parameter they were we call functionality. So under functionality, it is combined with water, lighting, ventilation, doors with latches, everything is available. So another 40 marks will be given for this functionality. First point is the cleanliness, and now it is called functionality. The next one, apart from all this, if a toilet is available for special people like differently able or transgenders or children's with low height, for easily accessibility of toilets for the children, that will score around some 40 marks. So if the toilet is having all these amenities, followed by the toilet has to be connected with the sewage tank or septic tank. So septic tank or the sewage system for disposing its sewage into the septic tank or sewage disposal system. So then it carries another 40 marks. So apart from this, a feedback mechanism, a unique feedback mechanism should be in place, either by using a QR code system or with the registration by using a registry, or else some operational grievance rehearsal system which is in place, which carries another 40 marks. Water efficient and water efficient toilet, this is the part where we have to keenly observe. This is only for the million cities where they have the water energy efficient systems, like they have a efficient fixtures, or else they have a solar panels, or they have some electricity where they can have a efficient fixtures, which is an automated system which helps them to get a score of 30 marks. This is only applicable to the towns of million plus, so cities of million plus. So for the remaining ULBs where they are not at all a million plus cities, there they can their scores will be normalized from 270, though this 30 marks will not be applicable to the other towns. So the last scoring where we can get the last scores where it is given for the remaining 30 marks is a dedicated agency or mechanism in place for O&M. So if they have an O&M by using a third party vendor or the ULB who is maintaining or running the public toilets in an efficient manner, if a mechanism in place then based on that the 30 marks will be given. So totally it's about 300 marks under this public toilets. Along with this, the remaining there are three indicators which will be taken care by Puja Ravi. So I will hand over to Puja Ravi. Puja, please can you continue with the community toilet to the end of this particular section?
Thank you, sir. So as Sir said, this section pertains to all kinds of sanitation facilities which are there in the ULB. So coming to community toilets, whatever indicators that we saw in the public toilets, the indicators which will be assessed by the third-party agency on ground, as you can see on screen. If you can just recall, we do have the FACES parameters that we had issued during the toilet campaign. So you just need to ensure that all your sanitation facilities pertain to those indicators. Basically, it is about ensuring that the toilet is functional. So if you see in the community toilets, the assessment methodology is the same as public toilets. There is going to be direct observation. There will be a desktop assessment will be done, and you can see the applicability, which is according to the population of the cities. The scheme of marking, it is just the same as public toilets. So when it comes to the FACES indicators, we talk about functionality. The toilet should be functional. It should be clean. It should be clearly visible. The community toilet which is present should have proper signage to where the community toilet is located. Secondly, there is cleanliness that is maintained in and around the toilet. The toilet should not have any kind of obstruction to the toilet should not be present. Cleanliness should be maintained. There should be no littering or any sort inside or outside the toilet. When it comes to the functionality of a toilet, it is very simple. As soon as you enter, there should be light available. There should be ventilation. Either it can be through an exhaust fan. It could be it could be a slanted ventilation point or any other. There should be no odor in the toilet. As you enter the cubicle, the toilet door should be functional, as in it should not be broken. The latch system should be in a way that it is not, a makeshift arrangement. It should be a proper latching system which should be there. Once inside the cubicle, the toilet seat should not be broken. It should be clean. There should be water available for the user to use and flush the toilet. As you come out, there should be a functional wash basin. There should be water available for the user to clean their hands. So this all pertains to the functionality of the toilet. The fourth indicator is that, as says, that there should be dedicated seats which should be available for persons who are differently abled. If possible, for for children, small children, there should be low height seats should be available. The toilet should be connected to a proper sewerage collection system. There should be no open discharge of fecal matter whatsoever. A feedback mechanism should be in place wherein you can either have a register, you can have a QR code mechanism, or you can have any other digital means by which the feedback of the toilet, that is the cleanliness of the toilet, can be captured by the user. Then coming to the water and energy efficient systems, this is only kindly ensure that this is only for the million plus cities. When it comes to water efficient and energy efficient toilets, what we mean is, let's say, a solar system should be in place for electricity in the toilet. The flushing, the water that is used in the wash basin can be used for flushing purposes. You can even have water fixtures like tap operated machines. You can even have sensor based machines. So these are the various ways by which you ensure that the toilet is a water and energy efficient toilet. Lastly, a dedicated agency should be there so that the O&M of the toilet is also taken care of. So these are the indicators on which the toilets would be assessed on ground. Coming to the next part where we look at urinals. Vishal, next, please. 4.4. So when it comes to urinals, same indicators apply, but we have reduced the indicators here, looking at the structure of the urinal. So once again, the urinals should be usable. There should be no odor. It should be with functional flushing mechanism should be in place. No untreated fecal matter is to be disposed outside. The premises should be clearly visible to the users. There should be proper signage in place, not just at the location of the urinal. You can have boards indicating users as to where the toilet is located, like is it in within like 500 meters or 100 meters, a urinal or a community or a public toilet is available. Then all these toilets, kindly ensure that all your, be it your public toilets, be it your community toilets, your urinals, all of them are mapped onto the Swachhtam portal. Whatever data that you feed on the portal, the same would be shared with the agency. So in case there is improper mapping or the toilet has not been mapped, it can be problematic for the ULB. So kindly ensure that all your toilets are mapped onto the portal and they are visible on the Google Maps. Then another indicator is that the name and contact detail of the operator, or in case that there is if there is a issue pertaining to the toilet or issue pertaining to the urinal or the community toilet, there should be some contact details which are available on the toilet front. It could be on the wall of the toilet inside, so that in case there is an issue that is faced by the user, he or she would be able to contact the relevant person and get the problem resolved. We move on to the last indicator when it comes to the sanitation section, that is the school toilets, which is 4.5. Vishal, next slide, please. In the toilets, in the school toilets, we are once again, all these toilets will be assessed either by direct observation and by desktop assessment. In school toilets, we look at the cleanliness of the toilets. If first indicator, as you can see in the scheme of marking, is are these school toilets, do they have separate separate sections for both boys and girls? If the toilet is clean, there is a proper water availability is there. If the toilet is well ventilated, it should not have any odor inside the toilet. There should be at least one specially equipped toilet for the differently abled children. Does the school, if also there should be proper litter bins should be available with proper marking as to what kind of waste is to be thrown in the same. Then all school toilets once again should be connected to a proper fecal mechanism, so that there is no open discharge of fecal matter. So these are another thing in school toilets. Kindly ensure that all the ULBs need to update the list of schools on the Swachhtam portal. There is a provision for the same, so that we know that which are the schools which are to be given to the agency and the same would be visited. Second is that at least 80% of government schools will be assessed under this indicator. So kindly ensure that your mapping, be it for your public toilets, be it for your community toilets, urinals, and as well as for school toilets, are all properly mapped on the Swachhtam portal. This is an important factor. I'm repeating this point again and again, because whatever that you feed on the Swachhtam portal will be given to the agency and those toilets will be mapped. So kindly ensure that the mapping of these facilities is done properly on the portal and in a timely manner. So with this, we come to the next section of use water management. I would request Satish Kumar sir to kindly take everybody through this section. Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pooja. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Thank you very much. So very good morning, everyone. So we are coming to the last section of today's forenoon presentations. So this one is about the wastewater management or used water management. So this has been divided into 4 subsections. So first one is related to the connectivity to the closed system. Second one is related to the conveyance systems. Third one is related to the treatment. And fourth one is related to the recycle and reuse. Okay, so accordingly, the marks has been marks has been allocated. So here, the total marks that has been allocated to this particular component is 1000 marks, which is actually roughly 10% of your total marks for this Swachh Survekshan. Next slide, please. So the first one is connectivity to the closed system. So this is actually an indicator which has been considered by keeping this joint monitoring program of UNICEF and to mine. So for this actually we have considered what is the system that are household has been connected for used water management. Okay. Okay. So what is the system that has been in place? So that is what we are going to check it. So for this, citizens validation as well as desktop assessment, both are actually being taken into consideration. So for this section, you are getting 250 marks, irrespective of the system, whatever it is being connected to, whatever the things it has been mentioned in here, irrespective of the system, you will be awarded 250 marks as long as you are filling this section and it has been verified positively by the assessor during the citizens validation. Next slide, please. Yeah, the next parameter is regarding your conveyance system. So here we will be checking what kind of conveyance system you are having and how it is being maintained and all those things. So here for this particular section, you have been given 300 marks. So the total the assessment methodology will be through direct observation, desktop assessment, as well as your citizens feedback. So this is applicable for all the cities. So first one in here is what type of system, I mean, what type of system it has been connected to. So it is a slight repetition to the previous one, but here actually we are focusing only on this sewer systems and INDs. So if your system has been 100%, I mean, if all your 100% households has been connected to this either sewer system or INDs, to drains, and the drains are eventually that has been connected to the INDs, then you will be getting 100% of 100 marks out of 300 marks. And then if there is any agency that is already in place, like URSUs and all those things in place, and for the maintenance of sewer networks, and if you are properly maintaining your sewer networks and all those things, and record of the same is available with the ULB, and if it has been found true during the direct assessment also, then you will be getting another 100 marks for this particular thing. And then if you have records of the percentage of septic tanks and along with soak pit that is being linked to your nearby STP or FSTP for proper treatment and conveyance and treatment, then you will be getting another 100 marks. So you will be getting all the 300 marks based on this one. Next slide, please. So next one is regarding the treatment of your wastewater. So here, if your treatment, whatever this sewage and as well as your fecal sludge, whatever it is being generated, more than 70% is being treated, then you'll be getting the entire 300 marks for this particular section. And if it is less than 25%, then you will not be getting any marks. And in between, the marks will be awarded accordingly as per the table, whatever it has been shown here. So the method of assessment will be through direct observation as well as your, I mean, desktop assessment. There won't be any citizen feedback for this particular category. Next slide, please. So the next one is recycle and reuse, but the catch in here is actually we are focusing only on the recycle and reuse of wastewater for industrial purpose. It is not for agriculture purpose, but it is for industrial purpose. For this, once again, you will be getting only direct observation as well as your desktop assessment will be carried out, and there will be no citizens feedback that is applicable for this particular assessment. And once again, this particular parameter, it is actually applicable only for the 50,000 and above towns and not for the other towns. And wherever the town is smaller or very smaller, then this marks will be allocated to the other three parameters accordingly. And then if your the total number of marks towards this particular section is 150, and if you are treating if you are treat more than 20% of your treated wastewater is being used for the industrial purpose, you'll be getting the entire 150 marks. And then no treated wastewater is being utilized for the industrial purpose, then you will be getting 0 marks. And in between, the marks will be awarded accordingly, right? So with this, we have come to the end of the forenoon's presentation. I hope you have gained a lot many things about this Swachh Survekshan, especially of the technicalities and all those things. You do have afternoon session. So with this, I'm concluding this session as well as my presentation. Thank you all for your patient listening. Bye-bye. You can leave. All of you can leave. There is no issues. You can leave. You can join us for the afternoon's presentation. Thank you very much, everyone.
Kindly note that we would once again be having the second part of the session from 3 to 5. Also, kindly note that we would be taking up your questions for this first round of trainings that we've had in the second session. So we'll all see you back at 3 o'clock. Thank you for joining us.